Thanks, Neil.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, I was hoping a bigger crowd today. We have Nick Surratt from the MLS, to join us over here and teach us the new tricks in the MLS. If you are not looking at the new tools, if you're not looking at everything else that they have done, you're really missing out. So I hope that everybody's on their way, that the cold weather didn't stop them, and I hope to see them here, in a little bit. So I want you guys to pay attention, take notes. Nick I might have some time to answer some questions after.
Definitely.
Okay, so 5-10 minutes for Q&A. So please give him a big round of applause, Nick Surratt.
That was pretty loud. All right, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
All right, well, again, my name is Nick, and I'm with CRMLS, and the topic for today's training is Cloud CMA. Right? Cloud CMA is our topic today. And what I'll be talking about in this training is showing you what Cloud CMA tool does, what functions are available to you, and part of that will be how to search comparables. So today I'll show you how you search comps in MLS, and then taking those comps into Cloud CMA to build reports. Right? So that's going to be our topic for this training. So first thing I wanted to start off with, before we search for comparables, talking about what is Cloud CMA and setting up your profile on Cloud CMA so it's there for you to build reports in the future. First of all, if you're not familiar with Cloud CMA, it's a great tool offered to you as part of your membership with your association and CRMLS, so there's no additional cost using this product, Cloud CMA. What this tool does and how long it's been around for, about 5-6 years at least. It's a great tool to build marketing reports such as a flyer. If you want to create a flyer for a listing, you could use Cloud CMA for that. You could also build a CMA report, so if you want to create a listing presentation or CMA, compare market analysis report, Cloud CMA is a great tool. Or if you wanted to build a property report, which could also be used for marketing as a marketing material along with your flyer, right? So those are different reports you could build: a flyer, property report, and a CMA report. So that's what Cloud CMA offers. So first thing I wanted to show you is how you log into Cloud CMA. There are a couple different ways to log in. One might be from your local association portal. So when you go to your association website, before you log into Matrix, you'll find a Cloud CMA icon. That's one way of logging in. It takes the same place. Or if you are in MLS, you go under Links. So here on the top, next to Help. So on the upper right corner, you go to Links. And then under Links, you scroll down to where you find MLS Solutions. So these are all the complementary tools that are available to you underneath. So on the first tool there will be Cloud CMA, right here. So when you click on Cloud CMA here, that's another way to log in directly into Cloud CMA. Before using Cloud CMA, I would encourage you to set up your profile so your picture and your contact information is there on any marketing material you create. So first thing you want to do is go under Settings in Cloud CMA in top right corner next to your email address. So you click on Settings, and there you start setting up your profile with under the User tab. We'll be adding your photo and your company logo. Right? So both of those will be under the first tab, the User tab. And the next one will be your contact information. Your contact information will not come from the MLS automatically. The only item will come is a BRE number. So your BRE number will be added automatically, but the rest of your contact information that you wanted to add on your flyers, this is where you add that information. Select what you're adding and type in that information, then click Add. Right? So it gets added underneath, and then you could move them around top or bottom just by dragging and dropping it. Right? So that's how the information will line up on your reports. So that's your contact information that you want to update. The next tab that you would go over to is Custom Pages. Right? So you just skip MLS, go over to Custom Pages, and under Custom Pages, you will be able to edit some of the templates that are available to you. So everyone will have an agent resume, but without your resume. If you want to add your resume, your past experience, here, this is where you copy and paste a resume. Right? So you have a blank page, copy and paste your resume, or you could add that resume as a PDF file. Right? So right underneath, scroll down, click on Use PDF File, then you could upload a resume if it's a PDF file on your computer to add. Also, you will be able to edit several other templates, such as, so everyone will have another template called Client Testimonial. This is where you could add some past feedback from previous clients if you have any written feedback. or letter, cover letter. So everyone will also have a cover letter. So if you want to update or change this cover letter to something, this is where you could change it. But otherwise, you will have this cover letter already on your account. Also, everyone will see a market action plan. So there's a simple market action plan created. You could add on to that, or you could copy and paste from an existing market action plan. Right? So these reports could be added to your CMA. Another report that you would find here is our company reports, or our company newsletter. So this is where this letter will be added for everyone. If you want to keep this generic one, or if you want to add your own, that's up to you.
So I have a question. There is where you put like the company of like Realty Executives as like the company.
The header.
The broker, right here on our company.
What are we talking? Our company. This is basically a letter that could be included as part of your CMA. And you're asking for a header, or are you talking about?
Yeah. So I don't know if the company, we already have information about the company, Realty Executives in particular. We could copy and paste it.
Yeah, you would just copy and paste, just like a Word file. Just copy and paste. Logos will be added automatically. Remember in the user tab, the first tab that I went through right here? So right here, the user tab, the logo that you add there will be added onto your report. It should be on each page on the bottom with your picture and your logo and your contact information. I'll show you a preview of that report, what it looks like.
Perfect.
But, excuse me. So custom pages where you could, whatever letter that you have, a company letter that you want to add, this is where you could add that information. Now you can also create any custom report. So let's say if you wanted to add a net sheet or any other documentation to your next CMA report, you have two ways to do that. You could either create a new page, like a blank page, right? Just like you go into Word file and you're creating a new document, click on create and give that document a name, or you just go down here and then upload as a PDF file. So if you have a net sheet created as a PDF file already, you add that net sheet into your CMA. Right?
Is that for each particular client?
For each CMA.
So each CMA based on that price and based on that price and that particular.
Exactly. So if you have a net sheet, so Cloud CMA does have ability to create a net sheet, but it's not great. It's very generic. So if you have built a net sheet outside and you wanted to add that to your CMA, so it blends in with your entire CMA report. So
that's what I wanted.
That's when you will add it here and then remove it later on once you're done.
Right.
Come back to settings and then custom pages. So always remember under custom pages where you find that. Right. So these are some of the settings that you wanted to get done before you start to use Cloud CMA. Now to build a CMA report, so these are the different reports you could create, like a CMA, a property report, or a flyer. So the first thing I'll go through is creating a CMA report. So we'll start off with MLS first. So in order to build a CMA report in Cloud, we'll have to search for comparables first, right? So the steps to search comps, you first go to the search tab, right, in the MLS, click on search, and then click on detail, depending on the type of property that you're searching for. So if it's a residential, click on detail for residential. Now, there are two different ways you could go about it from here. You could either start with a criteria, you could start to enter city or status, bedrooms, and other criteria, or you could go to the map first, highlight a neighborhood that you want to focus on, and then come back and add criteria. Right? So it's completely up to you. I personally prefer going over to the map first and then coming back and entering the criteria. So if that's the case, you click on map here on the top. So it brings you over to your map here. To find your subject property on the map, enter the property address on the top right corner. Right? So where it says jump to address, upper right corner. So you plug in the address of the property that you're looking for, right? Your subject property that you wanted to run the comparables on. Click enter and that will find your subject property on the map. So it will show you where this property is located. So I'll just zoom out a little bit just to cover a larger area. Now one thing you always want to do is make sure you have a knowledge of the subject, or knowledge of the subject property along with the knowledge of the neighborhood, right? Because in MLS it will not tell you the territory that you will not want to highlight to find properties in the right neighborhood. So make sure you know the neighborhood to use, the area that you're going to be using for comparables, the boundaries of that area. So once you go over to the map, you've located the subject property. Your next step will be to decide if you want to draw a radius, a circle, or if you want to draw a polygon shape. Right underneath criteria, so if these drawing tools, a circle or a polygon, right? So you kind of decide which one is the best fit for your neighborhood based on the location of the subject property. So if I click on draw a circle, you click right on top of the property on the bottom. This is your starting point. Click one time and then just move the mouse. So as you're moving the mouse, it tells you the distance, right, that you're highlighting. So if you want to draw a 1 mile distance, you get to 1 mile, click again, and the circle will stop there, right? So that draws a 1 mile radius. Or you could draw a polygon shape. Zoom out a little bit. So you have other drawing tool available right here, polygon. This allows you to highlight a particular boundary. So if I just wanted to highlight these boundaries, right, just for an example, I would draw a polygon shape.
So you draw it yourself?
You decide which drawing tool you would use, and that's based on your neighborhood and your knowledge of the neighborhood. So before you get ready to search comparables, make sure you know the neighborhood. Make sure you know what are the boundaries for the neighborhood that pertains to this property. And that will dictate if you want to draw a circle or if you want to draw a polygon shape. Right? Sometimes circle may not be the best choice. The property is maybe close to a highway, freeway. You don't want to cover the other side of the highway. You want to go with a polygon shape, right? Or if it's close to other neighboring cities, so you wanted to cover most of the neighborhood on the other side. So you kind of decide which drawing tool is best fit, right? So let's just do a radius for this example, just for training purposes. So I'm drawing a 1 mile radius here. So once I've highlighted the neighborhood, then I'll go to criteria, okay, here on the top. Then I'll enter my search criteria, right? So I'll come back. My criteria would be status. So for status, we want to select active, active under contract, pending, and closed sales. Closed sales will go 180 days back automatically. If you just wanted to go 30 days back or maybe 90 days back, I would start off with at least 3 months. Then you just change that number to 90 days back, right? So you just kind of work with that number. Start off with 90 days first. And next criteria, I would also include maybe hold do not show, just in case if there's a property where they're not showing for now, but it's an active listing in a way, but they're not showing it, right, for a short time. So you can find those listings as well. So select hold do not show. Subtype, if it's a single family, go ahead and select single family. Enter the name of the city. So it was in Lakewood. So in the city of Lakewood, we have 115 properties, right? It gives you the number on the bottom left corner, tells you how much inventory is there up to this point. And your next criteria would be the number of bedrooms. So our subject property is a 3-bedroom. Let's just verify that. So there's 3 bedrooms and 1468 square footage, right? So I need to know how many bedrooms. So first thing I would do is search for comps with the same number of bedrooms, right, if possible. So out of 150 plus comps, you still have 77 comps that are exactly 3-bedroom. If our subject property was a 4-bedroom, I'll search for properties that are 4-bedroom. Right? If it's a 5-bedroom, same thing, search for 5-bedroom. Now, if I search for 5, there's only 1 comp, right? So what you do in that case is search for comps within a range of maybe 4 to 5 bedrooms, right, to pick up more comparables. So then you're using a range. Otherwise, just use a single-digit number matching the subject property, right, the number of bedrooms. So I still have 77 comps to work with. Now to narrow them down to something similar to our subject property, I'll use a square footage. A range for square footage would be somewhere between 15 to 20% living area differential. So whatever the living areas of the subject property, you start roughly 15 to 20% less than and more than that square footage. So it was a 1468, so let's say we'll do 12 to, let's say, 16, right, just for, so I have 31 comps, right, so if I use that range, the starting point, so the 31 is still a high number of comps to review, so I'll then just narrow this gap. Let's try 13 to 1600, so if I do 13 to 16, that gives me 16 comps, right. Now what you want to aim for with your criteria, when you're adjusting this criteria, try to aim for comps somewhere between maybe 15 to 20 comparables, right, if possible, that you could review. So you could take a look at those comps and then decide which ones that you want to use for your CMA. So adjust this criteria and see if you could get to that double-digit number, right, somewhere in the 12, 13, 14, 15 comparables. And try not to add too much criteria. Keep your search short and simple, right, so you can find the maximum results, most results out there. So that's your search criteria. Any questions on how to search comparables? It's a very simple process. The only thing is that you need to then spend time and review each one of these comparables. Once I click on results now. Now, before I actually get to results, if I go over to map next, so if I go back onto my map, we'll show you where these comparables are located. Right? So these different colors represent listing status. If you click on the icon, the listing icon gives you the current status of the property. This is a closed sale. Red is closed, orange is pending, the blue is active under contract, and the green is active. Or if purple, those are hold do not show. I think this is a hold. So this is a hold do not show. So you can see where they're located, all the comps are located. If you find a comp that's close to a subject property that you feel that, that you may want to take a look at, go ahead and click on the comp and then put a check mark here. So this way this comp will be selected now on your results. So when I go to a list of all these comps, when I'm reviewing all these comparables, this one comp will be already checked. So then I will decide if I still want to keep it or not. Right, so based on this location, you can pre-select some of the comparables if you wish. So from here, if I go to results, gives you a list of all your comparables that were found. There are different ways you can sort your comparables. You could either sort them by distance, right, by clicking on the header. Now the distance column will only be there if you're using a radius, if you're drawing a circle. So if you're using a polygon shape, there is no distance. There's no way to know the distance, right? So the only time you'll see the distance if you're using the radius, just FYI. Now, I personally prefer sorting them by status, right? So you click on the letter S for status. So this way all the comps that you're looking at are sorted by status. The reason for that is so I know how many comps I'm using and how many comps are there. So I'm not kind of going back and forth through each comp, and I may have 4 selected as active when I just need 3. So this way you can see how many comps are there. So there's 2 active comps. There's 1 active under contract. So I kind of know how many comps are there for each side. There's quite a bit of sold comps. So if there's not enough comps, I could go back and still, revise my search if needed. So sort them by status. Click on the letter S, and all the comps will be sorted by that. Click on the comp number 1 and review that comparable. And also, having the knowledge of the subject property comes in really handy here. Right? So make sure you know really well the subject property, the inside condition of the subject property. So therefore, you're able to compare and decide which one of these comps will be similar to your subject property, right? That will tell you what the price should be of what these properties are listed for similar. So make sure you go through and review all the comps and take notes. That's the key. The more knowledgeable you are of the comparable, the easier your listing presentation will be. Everything else is just for looks. I mean, if you're talking about paper, knowledge is where it stands out. So make sure you know the subject, not subject property here, but know the comparables, right? So you know why you're using those comparables, you're able to talk about those comparables. So this is where you want to spend some time, an extra time, in reviewing the comps. If you notice the comp is not good, something that you want to just not planning on using, just use the arrows on your keyboard. Left or right arrow allows you to go from one comparable to another. Right? So just move on to the next comp and then decide if you want to use that comp or not. So go through the list and pick your comparables. Let's see, we'll use a couple of these actives, a couple of pendings. I'm going to highlight and a couple of sold comparables, right? There's a hold do not show if I want to use that as an active comp, and using hold status in your search will give you those comparables. So these are the comps I wanted to use for my search. Once I've done that, to build a CMA report, then I would click on Cloud CMA right underneath. So if I wanted to put together a CMA report,